when you go into business, don't go into business thinking about so much getting the money from your community. Just think about the product and putting the most value into it, and then figure out who gets the most value from that and go find them. Speaking of environment, and you said something a little bit ago, you talked about anxiety, and you said people identify with that anxiety. Can we talk about the things that we identify with in our culture? I was on Facebook last night and I seen a post where a guy was just talking about how Harrisburg is the roughest hood in Pennsylvania. And all through the comment section, did you see your face? You're like, what you mean? All through the comment section was, nah, you ain't never been to Braddock. You ain't never been to Quip. You ain't never been to Northside. You ain't never, like, we took extreme pride in whose neighborhood was worse.
Right.
It's like, no, we're number one. What? You know what I mean? Ain't, no, take that. You can have that. Let's talk about the things that because that's a part of the line. That's a part of the survival. We make things cool.
We do make.
We made poverty cool.
We do.
We all grew up with successful people whose kids put themselves in the streets.
Right.
Just because they didn't get that badge of honor of saying rags to riches.
Right.
Because their parents probably say, man, y'all got it lucky. But let's talk about that side of it. How do we, as a culture or individually, begin to spot those things that we're taking pride in that aren't serving us?
I think it starts with us saying what we are not going to accept. Who, like, not answering to what we don't want to answer to. You know, I think as a people, because of our history of how we came to this country and all the things that we experienced, we are used to being acknowledged for something negative. And so a lot of the times we identify with that thing, but then we just also identify with being identified. Like, you know what I mean? And that's some bull crap, but like, it's a real thing. So I think like we have to intentionally, again, forums like this, us gathering meetings of minds, master classes, master groups, where we can say like, yo, we're not answering to that anymore, so that we can stop it, break that generational curse, so that now, maybe we can't stop what our ancestors and our great-grand, like all these people before us thought and created as like, okay, this is our bottom line foundation of what we believe. We just stop it. Like it's literally that easy, y'all. Like we just stop. And then from here forward, don't do it anymore. But we have to come to an agreement. And unfortunately, we don't trust each other enough to collectively really do anything for real.
I found that the people that stop or take a stand end up being considered coons, not black. Because isn't that what the Candace Owens and them are doing?
Back to the last panel, like, you know, black people have higher denial rates for mortgages, for grants, for all kinds of shit. So we're applying for it. We're taking the time to make the application to get all the paperwork together to do it. So I can't just say it's like for lack of effort or even like the ability to like navigate the thing, although that's part of it. You know what I mean? I think culture is always a part of it. Individual behavior is always a part of it. But like shit don't exist in a vacuum.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we got to be able to hold that, yes, you did that, but you were born in an environment where you had three options, two of which were bad. You chose one, right? Like, so I think like we got to start having a conversation more holistically, where it's like, all right, if we don't want this to continue to be the outcome for our young men and young women, like finger wagging them might help, but you know what I mean? That's the easiest thing to do. You shouldn't have done that. Why did you do that? Oh, you know what I mean? So
like, I'm a young adult, but seeing like my peers, like white people, they are supporting each other, and I'm not gonna say we all don't, but I don't see that. I don't see it. So where does that start? How do we fix it? And like, who do we look at? Because there's nobody to look at. Like, oh, we're supporting this black business. We're supporting this. We're supporting that. Or in our community, a lot of people hate on each other. They're crab in a bucket. Or people pulling each other down, and they're not supporting each other. But them white people, oh, I went to my buddy's dad, like they all support. It's like a lot of support.
Yeah.
So like, where does that start? Like, how do we support each other and not hate? Like, where is it? How do we end that? How do we end the hate?
I would say two things. I'll pass the mic. I think we're over-indexed as a culture for certain shit. Like I work with kids a lot of my 20s, and I would ask them like name 10 athletes, entertainers, and they could do that. You know what I mean? If we did this in this room right now, we could within 30 seconds, right? Then if I asked y'all name 10 black people that are notable for an invention or their intellect, that's a harder list to come up with.
Right.
And I don't think that because that's a harder list to come up with, I think it shows up in the shit we're talking about now.
Sure.
Where it's if we like had a more proportionate exposure to all of our blackness, then that would be okay. But because that's over-indexed, like that's 70% of what we're seeing, you know what I mean? It creates the perception that we're not doing shit. Like people in Beaver Fall, like, man, niggas will never get together. We right here.
We're right here.
So it's we don't control mainstream media for the most part. So if that's dictating our perception of what's happening, like there's like cognitive dissonance there. Like we know how much the algorithm controls you. So I feel like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's not that that's not a reality, bro. I just think like, you know what I mean? If you turn the other rock, you'll see what you're looking for too.
Right.
So it's like you
Right.
gotta lean into.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's at. And if it's harder to find because you're in Beaver Falls, like it's sometimes harder to find in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Just like it might be tougher to find in Boston, which you got 1 million people in it. Like, you feel me? So I think like it's always going to be that, but then there is like the other side of that. You feel me? And if like you know what you trying to do, then like it make it easier to find that. Like I'm not on it. Like where's you know what I mean? Where's the creatives trying to figure out how to get grants or get their business together or like look for
Right.
like the affinity groups, basically.
And to piggyback off of that, I do want to challenge that narrative because I think it is true. That is a reality, but there is a whole other reality that Black people are out here supporting Black people. Like you said, we're all here today. I feel like my entire line of getting into business was I reached out to every Black therapist I knew until one reached back to me. That didn't mean that it was crab in the barrel. Some people are busy, but I think we're very quick to say this person isn't supporting me. But I also have to be vulnerable and ask for help.
That is it.
I will ask anybody, hey, I don't know what that means. I'll pay you for your time. I mean, I don't know how much your fee is, but I think sometimes we're not willing to ask, and if it's not in our community, like you said, it might not be in Beaver Falls. My business isn't in Beaver Falls. Mine is in Allegheny County. I feel like that's where I was the most profitable. But I think multiple things can be true. Yes, there are some Black people who are not out here supporting, but my experience has been, it has been Black people all along the way, every step. I purposely wanted to ask Black people first before I went to a white person to ask for help, just because I was like, we're out here doing it now. Like I got grants from people. I got my office space from a Black woman. The therapy groups I'm involved in these other organizations in Pittsburgh are all Black people. So I think even us changing the narrative in our conversation, there is a group that ain't supporting, but I got to go find the other group that is, because they are out here, like you said. So I think we got to be careful with our language too and what we're creating. Go ahead.
That was in more in Allegheny though, right?
Well, for me, that experience, but I had Black people in Beaver County help me, but I wanted to be stationed in Allegheny because my clientele in Beaver County wasn't African American. So I specifically went to Pittsburgh to have Black clients.
So in terms of business, what I've learned also is that a lot of times our customer isn't who we think it is. And we're not in the business that we actually think we're in. Like I'm not in the film business with the content house. This is actually a design business. People come here and they want a set designed more than they actually, because they can get online and just pull their phone up. Okay. And what I've learned was in my community, I don't think there's one community member that has asked me to do a video for them in the last 5 years. And that's because they're not my customers. I actually look at my community as my partners. I go and get rich business with the Pittsburgh Public Theaters, the Steelers, the people who can afford to pay me to Janelle Young money. You know what I'm saying? And I call myself Robin Hood. I go get rich business.
Come on.
And then I bring those resources back to my community. So if you come here, bro, just $40 an hour. Like I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, like my boy Co got a shoe store. I haven't stepped foot in there. I'm not a sneaker enthusiast, but he gets sneaker enthusiasts from all over the world because he sells luxury shoes. So when you go into business, don't go into business thinking about so much getting the money from your community, just think about the product and putting the most value into it, and then figure out who gets the most value from that and go find them. And you'll find that might not be grandma. You might not need grandma's money.
That's right.
You know, leave grandma alone. Go make some money and bring some money back to grandma. Right. You feel what I'm saying? No offense to grandma if she doesn't buy you stuff. You know, and that's what happens. Most people show up and they'll come to your storefront for the first 6 months. They're actually supporting you. What happens is you're in the month 8 and you're like, where's everybody at, man? They in the hood don't love me. It's like, no, they went back into survival mode because we're all surviving.
Sure.
You feel me? And I think that's one of the aspects.
Yeah. Well, and I think it goes back to purpose too. Along this road, where you're supposed to be, people will find you, support will find you, money will find you. But if you're not in alignment with wherever purpose is supposed to be, it's not going to bring fruit. It's not going to bring anything. So I think it matters to be walking out where God called you to. Because I feel like there's a lot of things I want to do. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a detective. I want to be and God's like, this is where you're the most successful, because I never had to build my business. Like, I had to build the side of it. All of my clients came with me from where I left, and the marketing I do is maybe a Facebook post here and there. My clients are my marketing. They be like, oh, you know Tonette? Sure. Oh, you got to get to. Yeah. I'm turning people away only, not because I'm good, but because I'm walking in my purpose where I'm supposed to be. So I think if you're focused more on purpose, less on support, because at the end of the day, if I got to learn it on my own, it's better for me. Yeah. So if ain't nobody support me in the moment, God is putting me in that space to learn the way I'm supposed to learn. So I think it goes back to the first panel. It's all about purpose.
If I could throw something in here, and this is maybe just something for folks looking at, just building off of your question for like, when you put together a business plan, one of the key sections is like a market analysis, right? So you're looking at your competitors, you're looking at who your customer base is, what are their tendencies, what do they like. So there's a few things I want to hit on, just like practically speaking. Like, I think to your question, even like create a customer persona. Like, that's an actual like like an activity you could do where you have to create a business avatar. Who's your ideal customer? Like, you have to figure out who your ideal customer is. To create a customer roadmap. How do you go from, I know, like for me, 66% of my audience are Black women between the age of 25 and 40. Okay. So, and they're like one of 3 types of people. So I could use that, and I have a Black woman who does my marketing to help inform that.
That's good.
Because I'm clear on who my customer is. Like, when I do my art events, I love it when I see young Black brothers from the hood come up, but like, I know like they not really checking for the art shit. And I'm not really banking on them coming. And it's work. And it's not that I don't want them to come, but I'm not, you know what I mean? I can't wait for that. You feel me? So like, a lot of times the people you even hang with ain't gonna be the people that you making money with. And you just gotta accept that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if there's ways where it could connect, that's great. But so persona profile, customer roadmap is like on your market analysis piece. I think it's come up a little bit, but like I haven't really said it, like cash flow projections. You got to know what your cash flow is. And then 3, like, they do this in nonprofits where you have to do like a stakeholder analysis. Like, who are your stakeholders? Who are your primary stakeholders? Who are your partners? The municipal people don't do this for partnerships though. Like, at every step of the way, I've partnered with different creatives or artists or arts organizations. You know what I mean? Or you got a venue, but ain't nothing popping. Well, I got artists, I could come in. Like, I've been able to work with over 200 people in 5 years. You feel me? Like, and I could count on one hand how many people come to me to partner versus how many times I come to them. So I feel like, at least of the creative shit, people kind of be focused on them. So I feel like if you got the eyes to see it, that's who the future belongs to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh shit, we all trying to do this. It's a bottleneck. If I come over here, kind of like with Seth, everybody creating, but nobody got a space. Right. So
that's good, man. That's good.